Welcome to Movie Lover News. I'm your host, Tyrone Rubin. I'm doing the show with Alex, and we are bringing you the #1 movie news show on earth. In very interesting news, Mark Wahlberg will play Nathan Drake in a film being directed by David O. Russell based on the PlayStation 3 game Uncharted: Drake's Fortune. Mark Wahlberg recently said that David O. Russell is one of the best writer-directors he's ever worked with. The idea David O. Russell has got is just insane, so hopefully we'll be making that movie this summer, Mark Wahlberg says. He's talked to Joe Pesci about a part, and he's also going to talk to Robert De Niro. Robert De Niro will possibly play Mark Wahlberg's father in this film, and Joe Pesci his uncle. It's not going to be the watered-down version, that's for sure, Mark Wahlberg said. As mentioned, Uncharted is based on the PlayStation 3 franchise Uncharted: Drake's Fortune. A 400-year-old clue in the coffin of Sir Francis Drake sets a modern-day fortune hunter on an exploration for the fabled treasure of El Dorado, leading to the discovery of a forgotten island in the middle of the Pacific Ocean. The search turns deadly when Nathan Drake becomes stranded on the island and hunted by mercenaries. Outnumbered and outgunned, Drake and his companions must fight to survive as they begin to unravel the secrets of the island. Outnumbered and outgunned, Drake and his companions must fight to survive as they begin to unravel the terrible secrets hidden on the island. Building on its legacy of extraordinary storytelling, developer Naughty Dog has created an elaborate plot that will have players guessing at every turn. This is the game Uncharted: Drake's Fortune, and it brings players into a world ripe with realism and unexpected juxtapositions. The overall presentation of the game, it said, received unanimous praise from critics who recognized the game's high production value, describing them as top-notch, incredible, or comparing them to those found in Hollywood. When combined with the overall style of the game, this led many reviewers to compare Uncharted to summer blockbuster films, with the action and theme of the game drawing comparison to the Indiana Jones films. As part of the presentation, the game's story and atmosphere were also well received. So the game's gotten a lot of praise by critics, and here's hoping that this will be a video game turned to film that will be good, unlike a lot of the others in the past. Mark Wahlberg this year was in Date Night, he was in The Other Guys. Mark Wahlberg's also in a film being released on the 10th of December this year called The Fighter, which is being directed by David O. Russell, the director of the film that I've been talking about, Uncharted. Mark Wahlberg's a producer on that film and a star. He plays Irish Mickey Ward. It's a look at the early years of boxer Irish Mickey Ward and his brother who helped train him before going pro in the mid-1980s. As mentioned, David O. Russell is the director on that film. Christian Bale plays Dickie Eklund. Mark Wahlberg plays Irish Mickey Ward. And Amy Adams plays Charlene. Apparently Christian Bale's performance is outstanding. He's a surefire for an Oscar, and The Fighter looks great. Mark Wahlberg's also out in a film called Teddy Bear, which is being written, directed and produced by Seth MacFarlane. It's a story centered on a man and his teddy bear who comes to life as a result of a childhood wish. And Seth MacFarlane's doing the voice in that film. Mark Wahlberg is a huge name in television at the moment. He's becoming a Hollywood producing powerhouse. He's got 4 television shows currently running that he's executive producer on: How to Make It in America, In Treatment, Boardwalk Empire, and Entourage. The director for this film, Uncharted, starring Mark Wahlberg, David O. Russell, has directed Mark Wahlberg a couple of times. He directed and wrote Three Kings in 1999, where Mark Wahlberg played Troy Barlow. David O. Russell directed, wrote, and produced I Heart Huckabees in 2004, where Mark Wahlberg played Tommy Corn. And as mentioned, David O. Russell directed Mark Wahlberg in The Fighter, which is due out on the 10th of December. David O. Russell is also writer and director of a film called Nailed. It's an original political satire about a naive small-town waitress who accidentally gets a nail buried in her head, causing erratic and outrageous behavior that leads her to Washington, D.C. There she falls for a dashing but clueless congressman who searches for the courage to save her. It stars Jake Gyllenhaal, Jessica Biel, James Marsden and Catherine Kinnear. So it's going to be really interesting to see David O. Russell team with Mark Wahlberg again for this film Uncharted. Just a little brief history on video games that have been adapted into films. We had Super Mario Brothers in 1993, Street Fighter in 1994, Mortal Kombat in 1995. We had Final Fantasy, The Spirit Within in 2001. A little bit more recently, we had Resident Evil in 2002, Hitman more recently in 2007, Max Payne in 2008, where Mark Wahlberg played Max Payne. Prince of Persia was based on a game this year, and Resident Evil Afterlife this year. So video games to films are very successful because the video game franchise is so huge, and I see the feature film as a kind of supplement to it. Hollywood have adapted literature for numerous decades excellently. Hollywood have adapted comics and graphic novels excellently. But as far as I can see, Hollywood hasn't successfully, brilliantly adapted video games into films. They continue to do so because it's good business. But maybe this will be something different. Having David O. Russell direct this film puts it high on my excitement meter. So, out of hope, I put this at an 8 out of 10 on my personal excitement meter. Uncharted, Drake's Fortune. If Robert De Niro comes on board, if Joe Pesci comes on board, if things start looking great for this film, I might bump it up on my excitement meter. So that's Mark Wahlberg playing Nathan Drake in David O. Russell directed Uncharted, Drake's Fortune, and possibly Robert De Niro playing his father and Joe Pesci playing his uncle. I'll keep you updated on this film because it looked really, really exciting, and especially having Mark Wahlberg, who's doing so much great work in television right now with Entourage, How to Make It in America, Boardwalk Empire, and In Treatment. So this film really looks like it could be something interesting, hopefully, because video games have not done too well being adapted into films. Thank you. I'm your host, Tyrone Rubin. Hope you enjoyed Movie Lover News.